everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Missing Monday. My name is Nikki, and every Monday I'm going to cover a missing persons case. So maybe me, you, and the internet can help these families get some closure and maybe bring their loved one home. I'm going to leave a lot of links down in the description box for you to also go and do your own research. And if you have any tips or clues or anything, please comment below on your theories, what you think, because a lot of times family members do watch these videos, and so definitely if you have any information, feel free to use the links below in the description box or leave it in the comment section. So with that being said, please subscribe, make sure you don't miss any videos on Monday, and let's get right into our very first case. Okay, our first case that I'm going to cover is Gregory Keith Mann, and we're going to call him Keith because that's what he went by. He was a 20-year-old who went missing on May 10th, 1997. Very mysteriously. This is one of those cases where the person literally has just vanished. There's not anything really hard to go on. It has kind of become a cold case, and it's really kind of sad. I am from Wichita Falls, so this case has kind of hit a chord with me because there's some things that are interesting about the case that has made me go, well, I wonder. So Keith was just a young 20-year-old guy who really had everything going for him. He had no enemies. He wasn't in the drug scene. He wasn't in a gang scene. He was just a regular old guy. Let's get to know Keith just a little bit. When he was younger, Keith's parents divorced as a young age, but he still stayed really close to his mom and his dad and everybody. He was a very family-oriented guy. But when he was 15 years old, he permanently moved to Wichita Falls in with his father and his stepmother. And everything's good, and he goes to Rider High School, and he proceeds to be a superstar in baseball. He ends up getting a scholarship to college. He wins an award for his being like a player, one of the best players, his sportsmanship, his, leadership. So this is a really, really cool guy, athletic, outgoing, just all around good guy. As I mentioned, he got a scholarship to a school about an hour and a half away from Wichita Falls. And he did graduate, goes to college, he meets a girl up there, they fall in love, and he gets engaged. Life is moving right along for Keith. But guess what? College is not for Keith, which is fine. That's like many of us. He moves back in with his parents and gets a car salesman job at Ron Roberts Ford. And by all accounts, through his dad, he was successful at Ron Roberts Ford. He sold lots of cars. This guy just seems like a pretty successful guy all around. Anything he did, it sounds like he pretty much was successful at it. He loved his job up there at Ron Roberts Ford. And so while he's there, waiting on his fiancée to come to Wichita Falls to move, they get an apartment. And he moves out of his parents' house. He moves into this apartment. She's traveling back and forth from college to see him and to move her stuff into the house. So everything's coming up roses for Keith. Everything seems fine. And here comes May 9th. This is when things start to get really specific. May 9th is the day that his fiancée graduates from college. So him and his parents travel up there in separate cars. There's some details in here that you have to know too. So I'm going to try to make sure that I get these details in there. They travel up there in separate cars to go to her graduation, meet her parents, and everything's good. Graduation is complete. This is Friday, May 9th. This is Friday, May 9th. the graduation is complete. Everybody disperses. Keith comes back. His parents come back. They're driving separate cars. When he goes his way to his apartment, they go their way to their house, and, you know, bye, wave, honk. That's it. That's the very last time that his parents see him, talk to him, anything. That's it. They never see him again. His parents gets up, goes to work the next morning at the car lot. This is Saturday, May 10th, a fateful day that he'll never be seen after this day. But he doesn't know that. Everything's going perfectly fine. He does a 12-hour shift, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Actually sells 2 cars that day. It's just a normal, regular day. He gets home at 9:30, calls his fiancée after his long shift and tells her, I'm going to be going out with my friend Chris and his girlfriend tonight just for a little while. And so we'll see you tomorrow because she's moving in the next day. All good things, right? That's it. She's told that conversation, and that's it. Nothing was suspicious on that phone call. Chris comes to pick him up. And here's a side note. Chris is a car salesman at Robin Roberts Ford also, and he has a loaner car. So let's put it out there. When you work at a car lot, you can take a car home, loaner cars home, any car you want usually, and I think it's kind of an advertisement thing. It has, you know, the license plate on there, all that good stuff. They go to the store. And here's another side note. We're going to keep these, I want to keep this very informative. Keith is broke. Payday is Monday. And Keith is broke. He doesn't have anything, but he does have a gas card that he uses when Chris picks him up. They stop at this gas station and they buy some snacks, and the older guy, Chris, buys some beer. And off they go. And what is there to do in Wichita Falls? Well, let me tell you, not a whole heck of a lot. I know personally. And in 1997, there really probably was even less than there is to do now. So, what do? They go mudding. Yeah, they go mudding in the loaner car, Chris's loaner car, right? Okay. So, they go mudding, do their thing, and the car's filthy. So they got to go wash the car before Chris takes it back to the car lot, right? Monday. So, yeah, that's what they're at. So here's where it starts getting really kind of weird. While they're at the car wash, Keith asked Chris for a quarter. This is how broke this guy was at the moment. He had no money, totally broke. Needed a quarter. And mind you, this is before cell phones, or before everybody had cell phones, right? He needed to use a payphone. Asked for a quarter because he has to call somebody to make sure that they are meeting up at 12:15. Yes, so Keith's planning on meeting somebody at 12:15. Does Chris ask about who's he meeting? What's the meeting about? No, he doesn't. He's just, yeah, okay, it's no big deal. He's going to meet somebody at 12:15. Chris has no information whatsoever. He's never said anything that he knows anything about the meeting. Off they go back to drop Keith off. Chris, bye. Keith takes 3 beers upstairs. This seems to be a key point, that the 3 beers are taken upstairs, because you'll see why later. He takes 3 beers of the beer upstairs, and that's poof, the last time anybody has ever seen or heard from Keith ever again. So the next day comes, here we are, and it's Sunday, May 11th, Mother's Day. And the girlfriend shows up, and she actually shows up a little bit early because she's moving in, okay? It's time for her and Keith to begin their life together. And she can't find Keith, so she calls his parents and asks, hey, is he over there? Have you seen him? And no, wait, the parents say, no, why don't you come over here and just wait for him? He'll be somewhere. Well, she had went to the apartment and saw that there were 2 full beers on the counter and a half-drink beer. The bed was not slept in. There was no sign that of anything going on. Basically, it looked like he just set the beers down and left. So anyway, she goes on over to his parents' house and waits. Let's backtrack. This is a Sunday morning. His parents live in a home that's right by a church, right by their church that they have attended for years and years and years. That is their church. That is their home. They've had it for 30 years. They have lived in this house. Okay, so at one time, Keith had, when he was a teenager and lived there, he would park his car in this church. That's how close it is to the home. And at one point, the preacher had said, "Hey, I need you to stop parking that parking spot. We have a van now. We want to use that parking spot. Please find somewhere else to park," right? Okay, so that was that. Just keep that in mind for a second. That morning, on May 11th of 1997, that Sunday, that Mother's Day, the parents go to church over there. They see a red Ford Mustang parked in this spot that Keith always parked in. But, okay, so what? The parking lot's full. It's Sunday morning. It's Mother's Day. It's no big deal. They just saw that it was a Ron Roberts car, had the license plate on it, right? No big deal. They really didn't think anything. Then they come out. Plus, they didn't know that Keith had been missing, right? And they know nothing yet. They come out and they see, wow, that car's still there. Everybody disperses from church. The car's still there. The red Mustang's still there. Interesting little fact. So the next morning, they don't sleep all night. The next morning comes and no Keith. Okay, so now they're freaking out. It's like, okay, what is really going on? Where is Keith? They call Ron Roberts Ford. No, he did not show up for work. Not to his fun job that he liked so much. They also find out, yes, Keith had borrowed a Ford Mustang on the Saturday that he left work. So that was his loaner car, and so now they're really freaking out, like, holy wow. So they go to the church. They go to check out the car. They're checking it out. It's all locked up. There's no keys. There's no sign of anything. But the trunk is popped. The trunk is popped this wide. And even the mom said, oh my gosh, you can't even see it. You didn't even know until you got up to it. So it's just cracked, right? Of course, they open up the trunk. They open it up. They see that one of the side panels is, you know, ajar and moved. They don't think anything of it. They actually shut the trunk and everything. And also, so let's also keep in mind, this is 1997. This is way before crime TV shows, you know, ID. These are before, you know, this all became a big thing. We had like Unsolved Mysteries, okay? That's about it. So they just shut it. They don't think nothing, and they're like, okay, well maybe he'll come back. You know, they're kind of freaking. So they do go ahead and they file a missing persons report for Keith too. And so the cops come out. They do an investigation, stuff like that. There's no keys to the car. Before we get to jump there, there's no keys to the car. There's only a locksmith that ends up coming and getting into the car and making new keys and stuff. So, you know, the whole feeling is just kind of weird. But I don't think, you know, they didn't really investigate it too much. They did a little bit of, you know, questioning. They did luminol the car, the Mustang, nothing. They also questioned Chris numerous times. They questioned the fiance numerous times. They polygraphed the friends. I think they polygraphed a few people. Every single person involved has been cleared without a doubt. So they literally have nothing to go on. They didn't do a huge investigation. They really didn't. They didn't do. The parents say that they did not do a search for him. I don't know whether they even brought out dogs. You know, hindsight's 20/20 is what they say. The parents say, you know, that if they know more things, yeah. But like I said, this is 20 years ago. Things were so much different. Things were just a lot different. So at least now, I can tell you right now that they are very, very active. They are on podcasts, they're on Facebook, they do have a website, they are on the news when they can be. Any kind of exposure, they are all about it. That's one thing that I'm really, like, impressed. Even though 20 years, the dad is still looking for Keith. There have been some, weird theories about this case. One theory was that Ron Roberts' Ford was being rebuilt somehow, that he got buried under the new car lot, which I have no idea where that's at. That's really way off for me. I will tell you my theory, a theory that I do have, and this is just for me having some experience in Wichita Falls, growing up there, that there was some sort of opportunity for Keith to make some easy money, maybe a quick drug buy. And the reason that I say this is around 1992-ish or something like this, I happened to be in a car with a guy friend that I've known for years, and he said, "Hey, I've got to run out here to Lake Arrowhead, and you want to ride with me?" I said, "Yeah, no big deal." So I ride out there. He's like, "I got to drop something off." So I'm thinking, it's probably, probably a bag of weed or something. And mind you, at this time, I'm young. I'm like 15 years old or something like that. So I'm just, whatever, along for the ride. He gets out, and we drive to this real rundown area, and he opens the trunk, and there's trash bags, full of marijuana. And so I was like, oh my God, I was so freaked out and so upset. I was just like, oh my gosh. And luckily, nothing happened. But he got a grip of money, and it was wrapped up in like a bag too. And off we went. So, like, and I was like, at that time, I was like, what the? So, all I know is he needed a chunk of money, and that was his opportunity. It was not a normal thing for him to do at all. So, here is my thing. That is kind of where my mind went exactly. When I heard this case, I thought, holy crap, that's exactly what I thought of, is that maybe he might have met somebody at the car lot, that the car lot, connections, all kinds of connections, friends and other business opportunities and stuff like that. It's just a good place to connect and with people. And so maybe, just maybe, he made a connection with somebody and was about to make some easy money. And remember, he had a wedding he had a fiance that was moving, he had like so many things that were coming, to life. And so in a way, that kind of is one of the things that I thought of. Then when they popped the trunk, and then when the trunk is opened and this is moved, that is a common known place to hide drugs in cars. So that kind of, rang a bell with me that, maybe he just needed some quick money to help with these little things that were coming. Now, in no way whatsoever is Keith at all involved in drugs. Has he ever been known to do drugs, or ever known to deal drugs, or be a drug, or even, he's a straight, narrow guy. So I'm not saying that whatsoever. I don't believe that he was involved in the drug cartel or anything like that. But I do think maybe, possibly, that he had come across some opportunity to make some quick cash, and either possibly it was a setup, maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there. That was my kind of theory, like I said. That is what popped in my head. It's just so odd. But where did he go? Where in the world did he go? Where did he go? Who took him? Why doesn't anybody know anything? I feel a frustration. When you watch his dad on video, you can seriously feel like, where in the world? Somebody has to know something. And I do honestly believe that somebody probably knows something in Wichita Falls. There's a lot of snitching that goes on in small towns. But also, being 20 years later, are these people even alive? Are they all overdosed? Are they all dead? And then also another thing about Wichita Falls, you either leave and don't come back, or you stay forever. That seems to be the running theme for people from that area. You're either a lifer or you get out and never go back. Also, there was a huge drought in 2010 that I don't know whether the family did a lot of searching the lake bottoms at that time, but the lakes literally receded for miles and miles and miles. It didn't rain for I think 3 months straight around that area. So there's Lake Arrowhead, there's Lake Wichita around there. There's lots of little things. So I mean, I don't know whether they checked that. That would have been a good idea at that time when it was a huge drought, and I hope they did. I hope I gave you a lot of information. This is a super cold investigation, and if you know anything about Keith Mann from Wichita Falls, Texas from 1997, if you know anything about a guy that sold cars from Wichita Falls that went missing, or have you heard anything, a rumor, I mean anything, leave a comment down below. Also, there's going to be, I'm going to leave you the Crime Stoppers phone number for Wichita Falls, Texas, and links to his Facebook page. So maybe, I know I don't have a lot of subscribers right now, but you know, I'm going to keep this up, and I'm going to keep posting missing person videos, and maybe we can help. And I really, really would love for somebody to help this family. And if I had any kind of information, trust me, I would so tell it. And you can anonymously tell tips through this Crime Stoppers. I believe there's a reward out too. So please, let's all use our thinking caps and try to help this family. And I thank you so much. I thank you so much for watching, and please come back and, like I said, subscribe, and I'm going to do some more of these missing persons videos every single Monday. And y'all have a great Monday, and take care of yourself.